Hello and welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I am your host, Joshua Martin. I'll be going over the games, the scores, and, everything Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. Now let's start the show.
Hi, my name's Casey. I'm the new host of Bird Talk Radio. Here's Joshua Martin.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's fine. So hello, welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I'm the co-host now because, football season's over. I have no idea what to talk about besides that, really. I mean, if you want to get into it right away?
Football season?
No, not football. You know what you want to talk about. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about basketball?
Season.
Trade season, trade deadline's coming up February 9th. You got 3 more days.
Who do you think is coming up next with trade?
To be honest, I have no idea who's eligible.
I want to say I think Damian Lillard is up. No?
I wouldn't say he's not leaving Portland. But obviously what happened this past yesterday, actually,
Yes.
Brooklyn Nets
traded Kyrie Irving to the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I don't think that was a fair trade because Dorian Finney-Smith and
Spencer Dinwiddie.
I don't think they're a best fit to be traded to the Nets. I've watched Dorian Finney-Smith since he was in Florida. I'm wearing my jersey. Sponsor that today because of him. And, I've seen him more as a really good teammate, and I don't see him doing that in the Nets. I don't think.
Honestly, I think the Nets won the trade.
Well,
because the Mavericks got Kyrie Irving and they got Markieff Morris. So yes, they got a center, but now they have 2 main ball handlers with Luka and Kyrie.
That's just a matchup you didn't see coming up.
Yeah, because he plays a 2, but he's a natural point guard because he's controlling the floor the whole time.
And Kyrie Irving likes to steal the ball.
Yeah.
And he wants to control the floor. So you're going to have 2 players who are going to fight over the ball. And then
I don't know. What's his face just got a huge bonus at least. Who owns the Mavericks?
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban. He's definitely happy right now. He's definitely happy.
Let's see how long he stays there.
LA didn't get Kyrie at all, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, but LeBron and Kyrie Irving both hinted that it was going to happen on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan Thompson said something too. He said, we want to reunite the old Cleveland gang.
Tristan's not going anywhere. I don't know where he thinks he's going.
I don't know why he said that.
He's not going anywhere.
Trade deadline's coming up February 9th. Nothing really big has happened besides that. Chicago might do a little something because they're a team that's not shaky, but they're a steady team. They're in the Eastern Conference, which is probably the hardest conference as of right now. Mm-hmm. With I don't know about the Nets now, but the Nets,
the Heat,
Celtics.
Heat's pretty good.
The Heat right now they're a little suspicious as well, especially when playoff time comes around. Jimmy buckets. That's when he really sets things off.
Yeah.
But, and then speaking of South Florida, we had the All-Star game this past week for hockey. I know you don't know much about that. I don't really know much about it either.
I will though. I'm gonna start paying attention to hockey.
We had that, and we also had the professional football Pro Bowl game, which was all right. Did you guys see it? The flag football game at all? Yeah, it was kind of boring, honestly, because defense can't really do anything. It's basically running one-on-ones.
Yeah.
The NFC won it, though, 35-33. And then the last thing we have coming up this Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
The Super Bowl. And who's in it?
Get your chili ready for the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Philadelphia Eagles are in it. We're the home team, too, for whatever reason. The Eagles are the home team, so they get the coin toss. They get to call it in the air. And they get to choose the jerseys, too. So I believe we're running with our home jerseys. We're not wearing white. It's in Arizona. The Kelsey brothers, the first Super Bowl with 2 starting black QBs. There's a lot going on this Super Bowl.
Yeah, very historical during Black History Month.
There's a lot going on. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he's dealing with that high ankle sprain. But Jalen Hurts isn't even 100%, the quarterback for the Eagles. He's dealing with a shoulder sprain. He's still recovering from that, that injury happened, let me think, 2 months ago. So he's still probably 95%. He's not 100% yet, but neither is Patrick Mahomes. So I think it's going to be a good battle between both of them. Definitely the defensive line for Philadelphia needs to step up the game and put as much pressure as they can on Mahomes, especially dealing with his injury
Travis
right now.
Kelce is also not 100%.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to play against the Bengals. So we'll see what happens with that.
But they did get a whole week off. So.
Yeah, but what is a week?
When you're getting ready for a Super Bowl, I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to if it's a normal bye week, you have a week to get your stuff together for a big game you have ahead of you.
So we got that coming up Sunday. AT&T for golf right now. The Pebble Beach Pro-Am's on right now. We have Justin Rose in lead with 15 under par right now. And then February 23 to 26, if you're in South Florida, the Honda Classic's coming downtown. Palm Beach Gardens, obviously, that's a very exciting time for the local because we get to see a lot of professional golfers come in town and play their game. Last year, Sepp Straka won. This year, I don't know who's going to be in it, really, because the Honda Classic has died down a little bit, but it's still it's a fun tournament to go to. They got the Bear Trap, which is an amazing 3-hole stretch, and it's just a beautiful time to go out and just watch some little golf, especially in South Florida where it's beautiful most of the time. And then we got some MLB free agency talk. I think we'll hold off on that for a little bit. And you ready for a commercial break?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, so we'll take a quick commercial break, and then we got some special guests on the other side. So we'll be right back. In a world.
Here's everyone. I'm your host, Daniel.
That is terrible. Where movies and trivia collide.
I'm a vampire.
Twilight.
Two ridiculously good-looking game show hosts.
I'm your host, Daniel.
And I am Joshua Martin.
Will tackle the challenge of being the best at movie trivia.
All right, this is about a board game that comes to life.
This guy repeats his day over and over and over again.
The power of Christ compels you.
Movie Wars. Hello and welcome. Can you get off your phone? Welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I am the co-host with the actual host.
New intern, sorry.
So yeah, we got special guests on the other side. Do you want to introduce them?
Robin, I don't remember
That's
her last
fine.
name.
It's fine. I'll introduce
I know it was
them. So
Robin, but I don't want to say the last name wrong.
We have certified MLB PA agent Phil Toronto here, and we have Robin, who works with a lot of players herself. And you want to introduce yourself and just talk about a little bit what you do?
Sure, that would be great. Thanks so much for having me, everybody. My name is Robin Gargano. I am certified resiliency strategist and mental skills coordinator. I also am trained in complex trauma, and I help athletes break out of their mundane routine, level up, and become leaders of themselves. And we work on resiliency. We work on their trauma from the past, developmental trauma, and we help them become elite athletes in their field.
Awesome. And then Phil, you're obviously creating that new training facility down here.
Well, first off, I'm Robin's biggest fan. That's why I'm here today.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's good to see Robin, and it's just amazing what her craft is and what she's doing for a lot of the athletes out there. So, kudos to her, and keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thanks, Phil.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm guessing with the facility coming down, you're going to helping out a lot of the people that are be coming down here, training at the new facility and all that?
Yes, we're really excited about that in the future, what that means, what that looks like, helping as many people as we can get out of their own way, really understand from a young age what it's like to be a leader and take 100% responsibility in your craft so that you can perform outside of where you're putting your limitations. So we're excited for that in the future and molding young minds, and then all the players that come in as well too to train at the facility. It's going to be great.
Do you have any advice, I guess, to give to little leaguers? Because I know after Little League's fun, but when you get serious and it gets to the high school ball, college
varsity
ball, that's when they really, they need to step up. So what can you teach them at the Little League age to get them ready for high school and college?
Be 100% responsible 100% of the time for yourself. There's no excuses. You are accountable for you. And the sooner, at the youngest age, that you can master that, that is when you're going to step out of your shell and understand what leadership and resiliency is all about. So younger minds, they're not at that rational developmental stage, right? They don't have pure logic and reason yet. So we train them in that. And so you start small with, I just get to take responsibility for myself. I get to take responsibility for what I do, for what I don't do, what I'm accountable for myself. And then that will help other teammates see that. That's how you propel leadership forward. But we start really small and really simple, but adults have a really hard time mastering that simple skill as well too, right? We blame everybody, but from a young perspective, that's where we start.
Oh, that's nice. I remember watching some time ago, it was Derek Jeter, it was a little interview about him, and I remember him talking about if he was playing in today's age, social media would kill him. I mean,
It's the worst.
do you want to talk about social media a little bit and
I would
how it
love
impacts
to.
a lot of these players?
Yes, I would love to talk about social media. So social media as a whole, right? It's a great marketing tool. It's great for these players to, when they want to get recruited and things like that, to use it as a baseline. When you use it beyond that, when you're starting to judge yourself from it, or just you spend so much time clouded and inundated, our mind really does turn on itself. We start judging ourselves and how we're perceived by others. All that outside noise comes from a lot of social media. The phone in general, right? We're just on it all the time, constantly. It reprograms our brain. You can't communicate well. You can't think forwardly. You're just stuck in this like monotony of like, let me check my phone, let me do this. But it really does set another pressure tone for players when they start scrolling and going into that black abyss of social media and they start reading all the negative commentary. If you're not trained how to combat that in your head, it really messes with you. So you start to look at all this stuff and you're putting yourself up against these judgments by other people that mean nothing, right? It's just outside perspective. You create your own story, but it really does suck the life out of a person when you just live and breathe by social media. The pressure, it's just too much.
I mean, I look at the comments on, some of the posts that ESPN posts or something like that, and some of them like get me upset. So I can't even imagine, thousands of comments talking about me specifically being like, if I was a ball player or something like that. I can't imagine that amount of pressure on someone.
Yeah, and why do you want to inflict that upon yourself anyways, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone has something to say. Okay, you want to read a couple things? Use that as a tool to be like, okay, maybe I didn't realize this about myself, or let me think about this. Because if something's triggering you on social media to the point of it's really messed with your head, there is something inside of you that needs to understand where that's coming from. So use it as a productive tool versus getting sucked into and having your mind be played with. So if you're going to be on social media and you want to read those negative comments, use it as your form to up-level yourself of what can I see, what can I do, how can I change this, and then get off. Set a timer on your phone. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on this, and then that's it. I'm done.
One thing I want to point out that social media definitely does, especially if you're an influencer or an athlete, everyone watches you if you're going to retaliate on something, especially when it comes to politics. Because some athletes these days, I'm going to say LeBron James, he's very involved with politics. Really involved with politics. So he's not. I follow him with his athletic ability on the court, but I'm hearing that he's losing a lot of fans because of what he says on Twitter due to politicians and stuff. And I'm like, well, I feel like back in the day, because Michael Jordan, I watched his documentary. I wasn't around during that time. Yeah. And I'm hearing all this stuff. He used to talk on the press about what's going on in the world, and it's just, I feel like back then everyone had nicer things to say. But social media kind of brought out a really bad side, an alter ego to everyone, and it turns out you really shouldn't retaliate when it comes to
Yeah.
something you don't like.
And we all want to see change in the world, and we all get to have an opinion, right? And that's cool and fine. But athletes, I feel like, are taking it to another level right now, where it's you are an inspiration to people.
Yeah.
Use your voice in a compassionate way. We don't have to berate things or go down a rabbit hole that is going to deter from what and where you started, how you came to be. Use your voice as an inspiration versus bashing. Like, we don't all agree, and that's fine. Like, accept that we're not going to all agree, and that's okay. Let's not go down that rabbit hole of destruction, because you're going to lose fans. And you get to be this stand-up leader in the space. You're LeBron James. You're anybody,
Yeah.
right? Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. Great documentary, by the
Yeah.
way. Like, cried through it all.
I thought that was the best made documentary I've seen.
So great. But use your voice for good if you're going to step on a platform like
Yeah.
that, especially when you're at that type of elite level in your skill.
Don't talk negative about whatever you're talking about. Like, put in put it in how it's affecting you. Don't put in, oh, I don't like this because of how it is. But if it's affecting you, show how it's affecting just you, not just how you think it is with the whole world.
Somewhere along the lines, we've lost compassion for people. We've lost what that looks like. And if you can just speak from a place of compassion, no matter what you believe, the conversation will be so much more productive. Let's just give each other enough space and grace to be like, all right, I can see that side. It's not my side, but wonderful, great, period, end of discussion. Let's not drag it on and become, I don't know, Darth Vader in the sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone turns into the supervillain, hiding behind their little phone screen. But how are you and Phil going to work together?
Go for it.
Like I said, I'm Robin's biggest fan, and we've been friends quite a while now, at least about 7 or 8 years, I believe. And basically, my athletes out there, they have the opportunity to lean on me with whatever concerns they have as far as their career or whatever, goals they're trying to strive at, on and off the field. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can help your client. It's not just buying equipment. It's not just negotiating contracts. We're here for them from an entire career aspect. And if there's opportunity for them to talk to somebody that they feel they need to help them in certain areas that really don't involve the game or do involve the game, but from a private standpoint, they're more than welcome to do that, and there's opportunity out there for them to do that. So I want my clients to know that we're here from them, no matter what the case may be, whether it's on the field, off the field, whether you're having a great day or a bad day. That's the commitment that I've made when I became an agent. So having somebody like Robin in my corner that I know I can lean on if my clients need that kind of help or need that kind of attention in a career standpoint, it's great to know I have somebody that I trust that's going to look out for the best interests of the client as well.
And I know you work with baseball players, so I mean, what's the difference between looking after someone that's in AA or AAA trying to make it versus someone that's already in the big leagues?
There's more pressure on the minor league level side.
Definitely, yeah.
Because you're always constantly looking behind your back and who's coming up next, or you're looking at who's going up before you, and you didn't get your opportunity yet. So there's it's a daily grind, as I always say. There is opportunity for everybody out there, but there's not always opportunity for everybody out there, if that makes sense. Guys that do get opportunities don't always get to their ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is not to stay in the minor leagues, it's to get to the big leagues. That percentage is very low. For guys that get drafted or signed as free agents internationally or whatever, the amount of players that actually physically make it up to the major leagues is very small. So the amount of players that play across the country and around the world, the amount of players that get signed, and the amount of players that actually physically make it up, that percentage is very low. So going through a AA, AAA standpoint, although you're close, you're not necessarily there yet. And it's actually the hardest because you're always competing against guys that either may have had, big league time, or have been an up and down type of player, or on a rehab assignment, or whatever the case may be, you're competing against the best. So to be able to get to the ultimate goal, you got to beat the best and be able to compete with the best. And even then, you're not guaranteed your shot. So it's a struggle. It's a grind. Like, anything that's worth going after, you have to work hard for. So no matter what, hard work is going to play into it. But unfortunately, you have to sit there and look at a client that works hard, and he's looking at you and saying, well, why haven't I got my shot yet? So we want to say hard work pays off all the time, but it's not necessarily always the case. And that's something like I talked about the last time, whereas I have other alternatives for my clients to go overseas and do different things that may not pertain to going into the big leagues, although it's still pro level type of competition and pro level type of pay. It may not have to be here in the States. It could be somewhere else. So I feel like I've given my clients the opportunity to expand in all different areas of the game, from a overseas standpoint as well as a stateside standpoint, to where I have the options for them no matter what they decide to do with their careers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
I was just thinking right now, I mean, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, all these players have the mentality that no one can stop them at all. I mean, how do you train someone to have this mentality, I guess, that they're the best?
It just starts from your internal belief system, right? If there's anything tarnishing that, because along the way, it's going to get tarnished no matter what. So if you don't have that foundation of believing in yourself that possibilities are endless, that's an issue, number one, right? So we need to find out, we have to go backwards, right? Where did that come from? Like, what drew you to this perspective of, I'm not worthy enough, I don't believe enough in myself, right? Because anything in this life is possible. But we position our minds to think that a Serena Williams, I can't surmount to that. Why not? Look where she was. Look where she came from. I mean, look where Oprah came from. You want to go
they're
out of
still
the box,
around.
right? I mean, the possibilities are endless, but if you don't believe that from the very beginning, then we need to strip that away and we have to go back developmentally. Where did that come from? Where did that outside noise start? And we strip away the layers. So we're starting to build the belief system. Now, if you do have that belief system, that's going to carry you far, right? But you have to mentally train with intention every day. It's 90% of the game. It's 90% of life. So if you aren't in intention with your training, no matter what that is, and I'll give an example. I have my clients every day, you write down one win. I don't care if it relates to your sport or if it relates to life, because you're a person first, a player second, right? So we always want to remember that tool of, I get to play this sport. I get to do this. This is my passion. But I want to find a win a day so that when I'm having those days of disbelief, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look through all of those wins. Look at my story, how it's unfolded. Where did I come from when I started this journey? Those are powerful tools, but you have to work at it, right? And you have to start with that foundation of belief, and then I know that I can be anything 10 times over if I give myself the opportunity to look at the world through a different lens. And that's where it starts.
Can I touch on that a little bit too? So it's weird. Growing up as a player, and I didn't play at a high level, I just loved the game. And I played to love the game and to have fun on the game. But I wasn't the best player. Even when I, strived to be the best player, I wasn't the best player. And I knew that. What's weird is as I have evolved into my career and my life, I feel like I could do anything, no matter what. You tell me I can't do it, I guarantee you I do it. Because now I have the confidence in myself to be able to accomplish whatever I want to accomplish. So like I teach my kids, I also teach my athletes, when you step up there, you have to believe that nobody's better than you. Now, it's not easy. You might get beat, but at the same time, you have to learn how to turn the page, too. So now when I play fooling around now at 44 years old and grab a bat and jump in the cage or have some fun with my clients when they're hitting BP, in the off season and just kind of goof off a little bit, I believe that I'm going to hit that baseball. And guess what? 9 out of 10 times I do. Which back when I was in Little League or playing, high school baseball or whatever I was doing, I couldn't hit water if I fell out of the boat. So now it's just a mindset. I've accomplished so much in my life of things I wasn't supposed to accomplish, but because I was determined to accomplish it, I'm able to. So if you're able to get your mind to that area of processing that kind of thought, you can do whatever you want in life, especially.
It's funny how we can just change one simple thing inside us and we can accomplish so much more.
Yep. I
so
mean,
true.
you tell me, you tell me I can't do something, I promise you I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to do it. So whether it's hit a ball out of the park or, pitch and strike a guy out that I probably never could have before, I'm going to try, I'm going to attempt it, and if I don't, I'm going to try again. And I'm going to keep trying until I do it.
See, I wish I had that mindset when I played softball.
I wish I had that mindset when I played baseball. I stopped at high school.
I wish I did. Not that I would have made it to the pros, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if I would have worked with that kind of confidence growing up, I would have accomplished way more than I did earlier on in life, because I would have had that mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it took me till I was in my 30s to realize nobody's going to beat me. Nobody can outwork me. Nobody can out-hustle me. Nobody can out-grind me. Nobody. And that's my mindset every day when I wake up.
Unless you allow them to.
Unless you allow them to. Exactly.
And if I can jump in on that, because I love what you said about that, right? It's when we speak nicely to ourselves, there's actually a science that is happening in our bodies, right? We're all made of energy. And I won't go to the science side of it, but it is really true. I teach my clients this. This is one of the things I train them on. When you speak in love with yourself, when you're in gratitude of yourself, when you speak, I am the most confident, I am this, your body actually mimics that, right? We are beings that want to live in positivity, but yet it's so easy to go to the negative. So when you say, I am the best, or I am going to hit that ball, there is a science inside, right? The energy, your cells are feeling that, and you will perform to that caliber. So if I could share just a quick story. So my 14-year-old daughter, she had always wanted to play softball. She teetered around with it when she was little. Now she's playing. She wants to be a pitcher. We're in the cage, and she's practicing, right? She's doing pitching lessons, and I'm catching with her. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to let her go. I suck at this. I'm so bad at this. I'm an awful pitcher. It's constant. So I was like, okay, you know what? I want you to just trust me. I want you to say, I am a pitcher. And she's like, I'm a pitcher. I'm like, no, I am a pitcher. I had her say it 5 times. Wouldn't you know, the next 5 pitches she threw right in the zone every single time. Your body and your mind needs to believe in order to mimic the performance.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie, the big guy here, Freddie always tells us every day to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're the best. And I always thought he was crazy. But, I mean, having you on here, I was like, oh, my God, it may be real.
It is. It's totally real.
Awesome.
Believe.
Thank you so much, Phil, Robin, for coming on
my
the show
pleasure.
and sharing your expertise with everything.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you, Casey, for actually hosting the show
Thank
today. Bird Talk Radio, go live every Monday. Next Monday is going to be, hopefully, a very celebratory Monday. We'll see what happens after this Sunday, but catch us next week, Monday, 11 a.m., Facebook, and I think that's it. Sound good?
Yep. See you next week.
Awesome. All right, peace out. Thank you for watching Bird Talk Radio. Again, I am your host, Joshua Martin. If you want to contact me or be on the show, just email me at birdtalkradio2022@gmail.com, or you can call in during the show at 888-994-4995 in the Studio A. Have a wonderful day, and remember, go Birds.